Your Eminences, esteemed representatives of the Hebrew University, honored guests, and dear students. I would like to extend my most sincere gratitude for the invitation and to offer remarks for this year's annual commemoration of the Armenian Genocide. I know that this has now become a yearly occurrence, but I would like to take just a moment to remind all of us here today that, in fact, this is a very serious intellectual and moral commitment. A leading institution such as the Hebrew University, which is recognized both within Israel and across the world, is again setting the standard through its consistent dedication in remembering the plight of my people. This kind of continuity shows that something that I think many institutions are beginning to forget, and that is that higher education carries a responsibility that extends beyond just scholarship, but helps participate in historical truth and thus history itself. I would also like to share that this is a moment of personal significance for me, as I am a very proud alumnus of the Hebrew University. And each year's commemoration becomes truly a source of genuine pride for me to witness this institution sustain this particular commitment of remembering my people's genocide. And so we gather to remember this historical truth of the Armenian genocide carried out in the final years of the Ottoman Empire through the apparatus of the Young Turks. I would like to stress that the historical responsibility belongs to those who conceived and executed those crimes. And subsequent generations, like the younger generation of today's Turkey, they do not inherit the blame for the actions committed before their time. Just as this principle stands equally in the case of post-war Germany, whose younger generations do not bear the responsibility for the atrocities perpetrated under Nazi Germany. But at the same time, the relationship between past and present is very important reality. Yes, of course, historical guilt does not pass biologically from one generation to another. But now, a different responsibility belongs to the young generation in today's Turkey. The responsibility to confront historical truth about the Armenian genocide with honesty. When young citizens accept the continued operation of Turkey's state-sponsored denial machine through official narratives, educational distortions, and political propaganda, they provide a renewed life to the falsehoods that were built to conceal the crime. It is vital for the societies that come after atrocities to confront their history, because if they do not confront their dark past, it leaves open the terrible possibility for that dark past to become a dark present. The Armenian people, and of course, the many wonderful foreign scholars and humanitarians throughout the years preserve the memory of the genocide through documentation, testimony, and even lived continuity. This memory exists across generations and is shaped by family histories, by community institutions, and by the enduring presence of Armenian life in places such as Jerusalem. So memory, in this sense, functions as both an inheritance and a responsibility. I think it is therefore fitting that today's keynote address by Dr. Lance Levinson highlights the theme of inherited trauma, of education, and of identity. Jerusalem's Armenian community is a living example of how memory is transmitted, interpreted, is embodied. That the relationship between trauma and education, which I believe is explored in your research, underscores again the role of academic institutions shaping how history is understood and taken forward. It is my hope that the State of Israel will affirm the historical reality of the Armenian genocide and stand alongside those nations that have formally recognized it, and not find itself in the company of Turkey, who, by actively denying to accept the historical truth of the Armenian genocide, pours salt on the wounds of the Armenian people and quietly set the stage for future genocides. Since a genocide forgotten is a genocide repeated. I would like to again thank the Hebrew University for graciously hosting this commemoration. And I thank you all for your presence here tonight. Thank you.